From night to day, from dark to light, from evil even to good. That's the topic of today's Bold and Blunt. And I'm your host, Cheryl Chumley, giving you a Christian conservative look at today's news, politics, culture, and events. So, from dark to light, from night to day, from evil even to good. What am I talking about? From the Joe Biden administration to the Donald Trump administration. I don't think I overstate how things have changed, not just in America, but around the world, going from Joe Biden to Donald Trump. Listen to this recent story posted by Mediaite, which is a left-leaning news organization. They usually go out of their way to find things to slam Republicans, slam conservatives, slam Donald Trump and all things MAGA. But even they had to take note of this recent story that came up in the news, making the news cycles just recently. The headline is this: author reveals Biden aides justified hiding decline in, quote, undemocratic ways, end quote, to save democracy from Trump. In other words, the author of this new book that we've all seen out there, right, about the decline in Biden's mental state and the cover-up that came from the media, we've all seen how that is making the media cycles, but now we have the author coming out and saying that basically the media concealed this because they thought that the means justified the ends, right? That Trump is so evil, Trump is so bad, Trump is so dangerous that anything that Democrats and their fawning fans in the media could do to damage Trump and uphold the Democrat Party, to boost the Democrat Party, it was all good. Didn't matter, right? Didn't matter. Rape, steal, pillage, murder. Maybe not that far, but, you know, the theme is still the same. The idea is still the same. Destroy the foundations so long as the destruction is committed in the morally righteous cause of destroying the Republican Party, destroying Donald Trump. Unbelievable. Here's the story from Mediaite. I'm going to read from it. The co-author of the new book exposing the decline of former President Joe Biden while in office and the cover-up by Democrats at the White House to keep it under wraps, said on Fox News Sunday that one top unelected admin official admitted to doing, quote, undemocratic things, end quote, in the name of saving democracy. This has to be one of the fairest leads I've seen in Mediaite, because they don't go out of their way to disguise the phrase cover-up. They just say it. They say it. The co-author of the new book, exposing the decline of Biden and the cover-up by Democrats at the White House, right? They don't couch that. They don't try and soften it. They don't try and dance around it. They just come right out and state it. They're stating it as if we all know this to be true now. There's no way that Democrats can skate away from the idea that they actually, truly, genuinely, strategically covered up Joe Biden's decline. So I find the intro here, the opening paragraph at Mediaite, like I said, a normally left-leaning organization that goes out of its way to ding Democrats and Trump and MAGA, that they opened with the premise that the cover-up is known, right? They can't hide it. So let me continue reading. Axios reporter Alex Thompson spoke with Fox News host Shannon Bream about his new book with CNN's Jake Tapper called Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again, in which the two veteran journalists exhaustively cover the many ways in which administration officials and top White House aides conspired to hide the president's decline from both the public public and, in some cases, his own cabinet. Shannon Bream, brought up a particular passage from the book saying to Thompson, quote, "You quote a longtime Biden aide basically admitting he shouldn't be running again," end quote. Then she read aloud from this shocking quote, Mediaite wrote, a tribute to the unnamed aide. And the quote was this from the unnamed aide: "He just had to win," meaning Biden, "and then he could disappear for 4 years. He'd only have to show proof of life every once in a while. His aides could pick up the slack," end quote. So Shannon Bream asks Thompson, the Axios reporter and co-author, who would have been running the White House in a second Biden term? Well, probably the same people who were running it in the first term, right? That's just my thought. Anyhow, Thompson, Mediaite wrote, said the aide went on to tell them, meaning he and Tapper, that, quote, "When you're voting for a president, you're voting for the aides around him," end quote. And noted that they weren't even Senate-confirmed aides. So these are just hidden aides, right? Concealed aides, totally unaccountable to the people aides, right? These were unelected people, as Thompson said. Let me go on and continue reading what Thompson told Fox's Shannon Bream. Quoting, "One of the things that really, I think, comes out in our reporting here is that if you believe, and I think a lot of these people do sincerely believe, that Donald Trump was and is an existential threat to democracy, you can rationalize anything, including sometimes doing undemocratic things, which I think is what this person is talking about." Unbelievable. Actually, it's really not so unbelievable. To those who have been watching the Democrat Party just fall into utter decay in recent years, really sped up since Barack Obama, it's really not that surprising, because we saw under Barack Obama that the Democrat Party was willing to do anything, basically, right, in order to damage the conservatives in America, in order to damage the Republican Party, in order to, as Barack Obama himself put it, to change the foundations of America, right? So Democrats just started down this whole new path of deviating from what's good for America to what's good for the Democrat Party. And in so doing, they actually advanced socialism, Marxism, communism in America, because the Democrat Party under Barack Obama was anything but Democrat. This was not the Democrat Party of JFK days. As I've said before, it wasn't even the Democrat Party of Bill Clinton days, because as morally repulsive as Bill Clinton was, and probably still is, he didn't hate America, and he didn't openly try to destroy the foundations of America. In fact, he continued many policies in America along the idea of it's the economy, stupid. Remember? So he didn't try to completely destroy everything that Western values stood for, everything that was capitalistic in nature, everything that was pro-working class American citizen. That didn't occur in the Democrat Party really until Barack Obama came, and on steroids just tried to completely change everything that America stood for. He was the one that had Eric Holder at the Justice Department being his wingman, right? As Eric Holder put it, "I'm Barack Obama's wingman." That totally ridiculous. The Justice Department is supposed to be justice is blind, right? But not under Eric Holder. He was the wingman, the henchman, the one who went out and did Barack Obama's bidding with the force of the U.S. Department of Justice. And that's when we had the attacks on police in America just completely ratchet up, right? The Black Lives Matter and hands up, don't shoot fantasy that was completely fabricated. The NFL taking it on itself, many players in the NFL to take a knee, to refuse to stand for what America stands for, refuse to stand for the American flag, refuse to stand for the singing of the national anthem, the pig pig socks, the destruction of law and order, Nancy Pelosi wanting to remove paintings from the Capitol. And that's when we had all the destruction of the culture, the cultural icons of America, the law and order of America. That's when we have the real infusion of Marxism into the Democrat Party, the divide and conquer, right? The haves versus the have-nots that Barack Obama really exploited. And so this agenda continued under Joe Biden, right? And now we have the Democrat Party that just, on unnamed source, right? But really what this unnamed source is telling us is basically what we who watch politics and follow politics knew for years and years now about the Democrat Party, that they are oh so quite willing to break laws, to do whatever it takes to exploit American freedoms, to undercut and decimate the Constitution, to use the judicial branch and bend it to will in order to destroy the Republican Party, in order specifically to destroy Donald Trump, and more than Donald Trump's family, Donald Trump's friends, and all things that Donald Trump represents, which extends to those in America who believe deeply in the MAGA movement and deeply in the America First principle, which is to say that it's basically what founding fathers gave us, right? The constitutional system, the democratic republic that puts law and order first and limits on government and elevates the idea of God-given individual liberties and rights being the priority and government only existing to preserve, protect those inherent birthrights of citizens. And so the idea that this individual would come forth for Tapper and Thompson's book and acknowledge what we've all known, it's not shocking, as Mediaite writes. It's only shocking to those who have pretended that Joe Biden all along has been capable in mind and body to run this country, and that a second run for the presidency made sense. It's only shocking for those people, those who wander through life with blinders on. It's not shocking for the rest of us. But it is still, nonetheless, an outrage. And it is a prime example of the Democrat Party in darkness, the Democrat Party in night, right? In the darkness of night, the Democrat Party wallowing in evil, playing with evil, advancing evil. And now Donald Trump has come along, and we are once seeing America move into the light. And my guest today is going to elaborate on all things Trump administration, not just the good, but the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm very happy to have with me today Mary Walter. You know her from radio, you know her from TV, you know her from media stardom, and she's here to talk about all things Trump, all things America politics. Mary Walter, I want to thank you so much for being on Bold and Blonde. It is so great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited about this. I've been looking forward to it, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you as well and get your insights into all things that are taking place in America under this Trump administration. So much going on. I know we've passed the 100-day mark by a little bit, but what's your response? What's the good, the bad, the ugly, in your view, from this administration?
Okay, so I think the good is just that they clearly hit the ground running, right? You can tell that Donald Trump had been planning this out and gaming this out for years. He knew he was going to win the election. That's the type of guy he is. He believes, I'm going to run for the election. I'm going to win it. So I'm going to spend the time and the money to game out exactly what we're going to do. And so that to me is the good, because he really hit the ground running. Also, he had the people around him. He knew who he wanted around him. He was smart enough this time to not trust the swamp. And one of the things he said, one of his biggest mistakes of his first term, was he trusted the people in Washington, D.C. to do their jobs, regardless of who was in the White House. And he said he wasn't going to make that mistake again. So those are good things. He got, things are going. Boom, boom, boom. Every day it's something else, right? Good news, good news, good news. The bad of it, I think, is that because he knew what he wanted to do and he really flooded the zone, the Democrats were prepared for that, and they were prepared with what they do best, which is lawfare. So now you have the robed resistance, as they're calling it. You have these lawsuits that are going to these judges. They judge shop. They get friendly judges that they know are going to be on their side, that they know will, if nothing else, just throw a spike strip in the middle of the road to slow him down. And the fact that there are no repercussions for that, I think is a flaw in our system, and that needs to be addressed. The ugly, I think the way our media, the mainstream media, has behaved and is still complicit in running interference for the Democrats after everything that's come out about Joe Biden, they should be humbled, and they should be chastened by the entire experience. Most normal people would be ashamed. But they seem totally undimmed by their failures and have learned absolutely nothing from the experience. So that's what I would say is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
So you can tell you are a rock star communicator with that answer, because that was just perfect. Everything boom, 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 all neatly laid out, and I appreciate that. There's so much there to explore further. I want to go back to what you said about Donald Trump's first administration, just for a point of context. How did you regard Trump's first administration? Were you a MAGA fan? Were you on board with him? How does it differ then from now?
So 100%, we were all in first term. Absolutely, especially when it's him versus Hillary. I'm like, well, I don't have a choice here, do I? So really, so we went all in on Trump. The first time around, though, it was so underground, right? We couldn't fly our Trump flag. You had to be on the down low. It was like a quiet group of people. It was during COVID, and I remember being a prisoner in the People's Socialist Republic of New Jersey. You could only have gatherings of 10 or more people if it was a political gathering. So we would have with friends and other people in our town who were all MAGA, and we would get together, but we made sure we wore Trump t-shirts, because then we could say it was a political gathering. But it was very, very quiet. Second time around, man, we came in guns blazing. We came in with our MAGA t-shirts and the hats and the whole bit. No shame in our game second time around, right? Like totally in second time around. As for Trump, I think the assassination attempts, especially the one in Butler, changed him as a candidate, and I think it changed him as a person. And he's much more of the person I wanted him to be the first time around, which was not constantly fighting. Donald Trump fought. And when someone wasn't fighting with him, he was picking a fight with someone. And I think that was due to the circumstances and the sabotage and the things that were being done to him personally and that were being done to his family. This time around, he knows who the enemies are. I think there's going to be a lot of revenge, and the left is saying, oh, it's terrible, it's a revenge tour. And I'm like, yeah, it is. You brought it on. You reap what you sow. So I like a lot of that. Every now and then you'll see him on social media, and I'm like, oh, it's Trump 1.0. I don't like it, you know?
Yeah, he really turned into sort of this national icon with that image that went everywhere of him standing up with his arms raised and his fist, fight, didn't he?
Absolutely. Even Putin said that you have to respect him.
Yeah.
After that. He said that picture, that was the true show of his character. And I think a lot of people agree with that. And the fact that the left, what was their response? Oh, that was totally faked and staged.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, Christopher Wray coming out and saying the bullet may not have grazed him or something along those lines. Remember that? It was ridiculous. Let's talk about Democrats for a minute, because I mean this in all seriousness. Do you, because I know that you've been in the media for quite a while, as I have, and so we follow we follow politics on a day-to-day basis. Can you name any Democrats today in this modern Democrat Party who are rational, who are reasonable, who even seem to like America?
Interesting question. And the first one that pops into my mind, and I think we can argue one way or the other for this, is like John Fetterman.
Oh,
Who would have thought that
knew
like
you were going to
Fetterman would
say
be the
yes.
same one, right? Like who would have thought it? Although I got to tell you, I don't know if I totally buy it.
Yes.
He's in kind of a purple state, he's in a somewhat red district, so he's got to play the game. Right. So I don't know if he's playing the game. I don't trust him. Like if I lived there, I wouldn't vote for him. But I wonder if he's just playing the game. But he's the very first one who popped into my brain is, I think he's kind of sane. And who knew it would be John Fetterman?
Yeah, because he was completely insane on the campaign trail, right? With his raggedy sportswear that he carried on to stages around the nation to campaign, or stages around his state.
He dresses like an eighth grader, an eighth grader boy. So what's that, 12 years old? He dresses like a 12-year-old boy. I don't understand how a wife can let her husband leave the house looking like that to go get groceries, number one, let alone go to Capitol Hill to do his job. That to me is just disrespectful. I think, I'm comfortable. I'm like, if you weren't fat, maybe you'd be comfortable in normal clothes. And there's that too. And I get that he's more comfortable, but I just think it's disrespectful. And I don't know if it plays to this persona. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to get to with it.
Yeah, it's like the photographs of Barack Obama with his feet up in the White House, right? Very disrespectful of
Honestly,
the office.
I gotta tell you, that didn't bother me.
Really? That drove me nuts.
Right? Oh, that didn't bother me. Like, of all the things he could do, he could be dressed like John Fetterman, for God's sakes, right? The mom jeans on Barack Obama offended me more than his feet on the desk. I don't know. I thought people made a big thing. I'm like, who cares? He's working. He's working hard. I'd rather have him working. Do I care if he has his feet on the desk? As long as he's not destroying the country, I'll take it.
Okay, how about this one then? Barack Obama in his sandals, right, while Putin rides his horse bare-chested. I mean,
okay,
was that...
I'm not a huge fan of mandals, period. And, there are some things, I don't need to see presidential toes ever.
Right.
I mean, I'm uncomfortable enough talking about Joe Biden's prostate. I don't need to talk about Barack Obama's feet. That to me is far more offensive than even Putin on a horseback, bare-chested. I gotta tell you, the guy looked buff, right? Like, that was a very manly picture. And Barack Obama on his bike in his mom jeans with his helmet on, I was like, he was, if it was a pink helmet, it just would have been totally complete.
Oh, yeah. It just showed, America at its weakest moment, I think, until Joe Biden comes along. And let's talk about Joe Biden. And really, the Democrats are in a panic now, don't you think?
I do. I think they're in somewhat disarray. However, have you seen the Republicans this week? Have you seen them trying to get a bill passed? They can't do it. Democrats at least can stick together when they have a mandate and they shove stuff through and they get it done. Their fights are held behind closed doors, whereas the Republicans' fights are held in public. And so the Democrats may be in disarray, but I never second guess them, because I think when push comes to shove, they can come together. Now, Nancy Pelosi was a big force in that, and I don't know if you've seen Nancy's latest in front of the microphone thing. Mm-mm. She's seriously like 3 daiquiris in, and either that or it's sad, but age has caught up with her. And she sounds kind of like Biden when he's not speaking coherently. So without Nancy Pelosi, I think they're going to have a tougher time getting their acts together as far as where they're going to go as a party. But when they are a party, when they have to come together and they have to get something passed, they'll do it. As opposed to the Republicans, Thomas Massey, for the love of God, go home.
Yeah, that's Trump's view of Thomas Massey as well. Though, I gotta say, Massey and Rand Paul have a point about addressing the national deficit. Do you disagree with that?
Totally agree. 100%. And I get that these senators and congressmen from blue states where they're Republicans in a blue state have to argue for the SALT tax deductions, etc. But again, People's Socialist Republic of New Jersey, where my property taxes are $20,000, that would be great to be able to deduct, my taxes in New Jersey from my national taxes. But why should someone in a fiscally responsible state pay for my fiscally irresponsible state?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say they're not. They're looking out for their own reelection. They're not looking out, and they say, "Oh, I'm looking out for my constituents." Yeah, I get that you are, but your constituents are the ones who voted for you, so they'll get it. You're not going to win over the ones who didn't vote for you.
And
So you're not losing a vote with that.
And I also think that they're squandering their political capital right now, right? The problem with Trump's first administration is Republicans just fought him almost as much as Democrats did for whatever reason, and nothing got passed. And now we have clean sweeps again of all the, major power office leadership positions in D.C., and it just seems like Republicans want to stall.
Again, this is why Republicans can't govern. Republicans, to me, are very comfortable being in the minority. They're just very comfortable complaining about what the Democrats are doing. When you hand them the ball, they don't know what to do with it. They're like, wait, I have to get this over the line? Oh, I'm much better blocking. They just don't know what to do. They can't get it together. And I don't know what it takes to change that mindset of walking into Congress every day and the Democrats beating them up to give them their lunch money. And they do that every single time. So I don't know what changes it. I think Donald Trump is trying really, really hard to get that changed. And just very quickly, not to yak too long, but one thing I like about the Republicans is they do represent their constituents. That's their job. They're supposed to be our representatives. So that's a blessing. On the other hand, if sometimes they would just fall in line like a Democrat does, that would be super useful. So it's a blessing and a curse.
So do you think the whole Joe Biden scandal now coming out about who knew what and when and so forth is going to hurt Democrats in the midterms? Because it seems to me that would be the Republicans' biggest benefit right now if the Democrats fall on their own sword.
Well, the midterms are still, far away, so a lot can happen between now and then. That's the first thing. I honestly think it hurts the media more than it hurts the Democrats. Jake Tapper is on this book tour, and man, he is just getting his head handed to him, and I love it. It's awesome. I don't know if you saw on Fox on Jesse Waters' Johnny, who goes out, and he went to go get his book signed by James Comey, and then he also asked him to sign his shell.
It's hilarious.
Right? So Comey, Tapper, the rest of them are just getting their heads handed to them. No one believes them anymore. And the mainstream media has squandered all of their political capital, their reputations, their jobs, their livelihoods on protecting Joe Biden and protecting this narrative and telling us that we're insane. How dare you make fun of his stutter? I'm like, I'm not talking about his stutter. I'm talking about the fact that his brains are mashed potatoes. That's what I'm talking about. So I think it hurts the media more than the Democrat Party. They will survive. They survive by ignoring everything and pretending like it doesn't happen and like they're above it, and they get away with it. Media, not so much.
So let's just finish with this, because listening to you talk about the media, I'm just curious about your background in media. I know right now you're Mary Walter Radio, but how long have you been in media? And when I started out, I was committed fully to the idea of journalistic integrity. I thought that was a real thing. And then, of course, as the years went by, I found out that it was all BS. Was there ever an aha moment for you coming up through the ranks?
Okay, so I came up in a very, very different way. I'm not from the DC bubble. I only worked in DC for the 4 years that I was on that radio station in DC. That was it. So I started out on a radio station in New Jersey in the evening doing a relationship show.
Wow.
So that's what I did. And the radio station we had news at the top of the hour, but we didn't, it was all opinions, right? So that's what it was. They talked about New Jersey politics as well, but nobody pretended to be a journalist. And to this day, I don't pretend to be a journalist. I'm an opinion host. I get paid to give my opinion. I get paid to listen to other people's opinions and comment on it. That's what I get paid to do. So I don't consider myself a journalist the way you are in that sense. I do have to have some journalistic skills. in the sense that now that I've moved from like a social aspect of radio, doing a social show, to doing politics, that I think I have to do my due diligence. So I tell people all the time, I will watch Morning Joe. I'll watch CNN. I'll watch MSNBC through the day. And of course, I watch News Nation and Newsmax and Fox. I go to all of them to try to get a well-rounded view of what's being said out there, because I think you have to do that. You can't live in your bubble. So in that sense, I like to think that I do my due diligence, and that part of it is journalism. But I use all that to give my opinion. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And, that is where America has to be right now. You can't just tune into one news source. You have to go to both sides yourself, because the news doesn't do it anymore. Mary, where can people see you, watch you, listen to you, so forth?
Oh, thank you for asking. So if you go to follow me on X, Mary Walter Radio. I'm also on, my podcast is available on YouTube and Getter. Last Tuesday, a week ago yesterday, my guest was Cheryl Chumley. She's amazing. So check it out. Go to Mary Walter Radio on YouTube and Getter. Click the live tab and you can watch her. And if you go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Spreaker, look for Mary Walter Radio, you can listen. So that's what I do. That's the main part of it. But I also fill in on radio shows across the country. I'm in for Brian Kilmeade on Friday on his radio show. I'm also in for Andrew Wilkow on XM Sirius Patriot Channel. I also work for Rob Carson when he's away, and I also work on PHT in Philadelphia. So I'm all over the place on the radio, and I'm on Newsmax television almost every Monday, depending. Sometimes we get bumped on the Chris Salcedo show between 4 and 5 o'clock, and actually I'll be on Newsmax 2, which is available on YouTube tomorrow at 4:15, all times Eastern. So thank you. Appreciate you asking.
Wow, busy lady. So smart, and I love chatting with you. Come back. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you. You are just an absolute pleasure, and I truly mean that. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. And that's another Bold and Blunt. Remember, if you like Bold and Blunt, you may get Bold and Blunt at edify.app, at Real Life Network, at WashingtonTimes.com, and of course, wherever podcasts are available. Tune in next time. And meanwhile, don't forget, stay blunt, stay bold.
This is your before and after story. Southeastern College can help you prepare for a secure and fulfilling career in the growing healthcare field. We offer a wide range of careers to choose from. So whether you want to be a medical assistant, medical billing and coding specialist, nurse, surgical technologist, or another healthcare career, we've got you covered. Become a vital part of a healthcare team and make a real difference. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.